Hello. Hey, we are live. Hey, welcome to the OSCEdays Open Labs, a collaboration between the Open Source Circular Economy Days and the Disruptive Innovation Festival 2016. My name is Lars Zimmermann. I'm based in Berlin, and I'm an artist and economist. And
Hi, I'm from St. Petersburg, and currently I'm based in Yanqing, Hubei province, China. I'm a teacher, an activist, and a mentor in the non-formal education project.
And my name is Gian. I'm based in and co-founder of Stop Reset Go, an Institute of Future Living, and hosting OSCEdays in Cape Town and Johannesburg for the last 2 years. And unfortunately, my internet's not very stable, so you won't see a picture of me.
Yeah, so we have really an international group here from China, from South Africa, and from Germany. And we are all members of the Board of Stewardship of the Open Source Circular Economy Days. And before we introduce you to the Open Labs, we just want to say a few words about the Open Source Circular Economy Days in case you don't know this project. Maybe Gian, do you want to give us a short intro about OSCEdays?
Sure, okay. OSCEdays is something that a small group of innovators, including Lars, started about a couple of years ago in Berlin. And it's basically a convergence of two concepts, two trends. And this group decided it would be a great idea to experiment converging these two trends. The first trend is the open source movement, and the second is the circular economy movement. And so the importance of the open source movement is that it talks about access. Well, of course, circular economy deals with these. So OSCE is really about making circular economy accessible to people all around the world. And this year, in June, we had our second OSCEdays. We had 66 cities involved, and we are now moving toward making it a year-round kind of event rather than just one week of the year.
Yeah, cool. Stasia, do you want to add something about OSCEdays?
Yes, I think that during the whole OSCEdays, this year everyone can take an action and existing action or create a specific one. And the main idea is no matter where you are, you may follow the existing action and clear steps, like a framework for successfully realized project, and you can adapt it for your local community. At the same time, evaluation and your documentation is very important for open source projects.
Yeah, cool. So in short, we're doing everything that comes to our mind to experiment open source for circular economy, and we are a very open project, so everyone who wants to test ideas in our environment with our community is welcome and become a part of it. And as OSCEdays, we engaged with the Disruptive Innovation Festival this year to create open labs during their 3-week online festival. And we will now talk a little bit about the open labs and what this is all about. The open labs have a subject, and the subject is the circular city. And the open labs are divided into 3 about the open labs and what this is all about. Sorry, I get a little bit feedback. Someone, okay, better. Sorry. And it's divided into 3 phases. And the main goal is to come up with ideas for the circular city. Can be new ideas, but can also be solutions that are already working somewhere. Collect this and then turn some of these ideas into actions. An action in the OSCEdays context is a practical step-by-step guide that everyone in the world can pick up and then follow the steps and implement this solution in the city. And we hope that in the first week we come up with good ideas, and the second week we come up with actions, and in the third week then implement these actions. But we will explain the 3 phases a little bit more. Let me start with phase 1. Phase 1 starts right now, and this is just a brainstorming session. If you click through our website, you can find a topic where we collect now collaboratively ideas for the circular city. And we invite you very much to contribute your idea there. Already some people contributed great ideas, and I'm sure you have also ideas that are really worth sharing and discussing there. And also we invite you to watch the talks of the Disruptive Innovation Festival and find some ideas in the talks. They have a lot of talks about regenerative and circular cities. And then let's discuss some of these ideas and see what we can do with these ideas in phase 2. Gian, maybe you want to talk a bit about phase 2. What's going to happen?
Okay, thanks, Lars. So phase 2 comes after phase 1. So after the brainstorming week has taken place, all these different ideas now. In phase 2, it's really about taking all those informal ideas and turning them into a set of actions, a list of actions that can be performed. So it's really formalizing it and getting it ready for the next stage to actually do it. So some of the ideas that some of the groups have discussed and are going to brainstorm over is, for instance, the food policy, look at local, regional, into the local region. Another one is about mapping circular organizations in a city, finding out which organizations are circular and then sharing that with everyone. And another one is about open modularity and standards in the design of circular cities.
Yeah, and you are invited to contribute actions as well. So we want to collect a bigger number of actions and develop them to make them then accessible for phase 3. Maybe, Stasia, you want to explain to us what phase 3 is all about.
Phase 3 is about learning in practice and actual implementation of the planned actions. So for the moment we have already 3 cities, and it is Las Palmas de Gran Canaria,
Schwäbisch Gmünd in Germany. It's hard to say for non-German people. Schwäbisch Gmünd.
Yeah, and Berlin. So now we want to hear from you, and what will be your project?
So you can really get your an event on our map and start to play with the actions or with whatever project you want to experiment, and then use the OSCEdays community and platform to connect to and try to make progress with your project or idea and with your city. And right now, phase 1 starts. So as I said, we invite you to share your ideas or projects about the circular city and discuss them openly. You can do this in written form, in a thread you can find on our forum. The thread is called Open Collection, the Circular City. But we also invite you to plug in now into our call, the call we are having here right now. If you follow the link through our website and to the video streaming page in the OSCEdays forum, you can also find the link, this is called to join. And you can now join this call and show your face and share your idea of the circular city. We would be very happy to hear your thoughts. And I think we will now start. Each of us shares one idea about the circular city, and maybe till then someone of you has shown up. Maybe again, Gian, do you want to start? What's your vision, your main idea, your favorite idea about the circular city of the future?
For me, I'm myself in Cape Town. I'm working on my own personal project is to develop an open source circular eco-home. My wife and I are basically building an eco-home. We decided to converge it with open source circular economy. So basically we're going to be developing a number of different innovative technologies. We're open sourcing all of them, and they're all going to be circular designs. And we're right now in the scientific research stage with our small group of scientists and engineers. But once we've established the ideas are sound, then we're going to open it up and to the public. And as an example, we're right now pursuing explorations with some local science centers to see if we can do take a citizen science approach. So, for example, if we're going to be trying to create open source low-cost wind turbines, then we're looking at building a wind tunnel, and then developing a citizen science, engineering, and technology development approach with the science center. So getting them to market to their audience, getting people to come out, and then build kits that we can then 3D print and then test in the wind tunnel. So all it's kind of a way of like a distributed programming where we divide the problem up so that many different people are involved, and each one can take a little part of the problem and try to solve it. Then we test it, and we all come back together and see which one's the best, and we all share in the best design. That's an example of that.
Cool, that sounds good. I've seen an hour ago someone posted in our Circular City discussion thread the idea of green facades. And I think you will in the following weeks do some experimentation on green facades. Maybe it's something there from this discussion you can pick up and implement in your open source eco-housing project.
Oh, definitely. We are already looking at that, so that would be interesting to actually pick up on what other people are doing. And this is the whole idea that we have people, we have an open platform and people experimenting in all kinds of cities all around the world. And if one group is doing one experiment and it's related to something else another group is doing in another city, then we all can share that information.
Yeah, cool. Great. Maybe, and Stasia, maybe you can share your idea about the circular city. What are you fascinated when you think about the circular city?
I think that it is a combination of ideas, and maybe it's something about sharing in the city, coming from using of one object and sharing it for several people, but also I think it's collaboration of government, business, and it's about social actions. And for me, I think that it is also linked to the education. And if there are connections between different institutions and departments, and we can find the way how to use the knowledge and resources, and it's a way for finding new solutions and development. So I think that we can think how we can use it for education and for involving students, so they can see the same position and maybe from another angle. So also involving teachers in the process is about looking forward, how to educate next generation, but also two generations. And for me, Circular City is also about transparency, partnership, strong community, and collaboration instead of closed parts of one system. So, and I think it's also about creating workplaces as, for example, currently I'm in China, and here in the city sometimes children live alone and study in the school, and their parents live in another city because they can not get good salary, a good job, and the main motivation for them is to find resources and financial support for their children so they can get better education. So I think that if it can be connected with the workplaces, and it's also about the growth. So.
Okay, cool. I think this was just one idea, but it was several good ideas. And to pick up on two of them, sharing, I think also this is very important. And in fact, the event in Schwäbisch Gmünd in Germany will be about sharing. So they will really have a whole week full of experimentation and hacking towards sharing in the city. So we will see in our context something of this. And I also know that the event in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria is about bringing together different stakeholders from the city and make them talk to each other in new ways to allow them to create a circular economy. And I think you mentioned that new forms of collaboration between the different actors in the city are very important for the circular economy. Cool. Maybe I share now my idea, or one of my ideas for the circular city, and hopefully after this someone of you from the audience comes on here and shares his ideas. If not, then we will close this little stream here. And my idea for the circular city is, I can show you this. This is a little part of a prototype I'm building. I think that open modularity in the cities will play a huge role. So that we don't have to throw away the stuff, but that we can reuse it in other objects. For example, you played as a toy, maybe as a kid, maybe with Meccano or with Lego, and you never throw away a Lego brick or a Meccano part after you disassemble the car or the house, because it's useful for another object or project. And this is what I'm exploring here with the Berlin grid. So all the designs I create with my team shares the same geometrical grid. It's 3 centimeters apart, and you can find a project that is much older than the Berlin grid and much more developed in the internet called Open Structures. They have a 4 centimeter grid and developed already a bike and several other stuff. And I think this will play a really huge role in the circular city, especially I'm very fascinated with the network effects in such parts, because I started to develop the Berlin grid because I already had some of those parts. And then I added new parts to this, and every time I add new parts to this, I can do more with the already existing parts. So it's like this network effect. If you have 20 Lego bricks, you can build something with them. If you add 30 more, you can do even more with the initial 20. And I'm fascinated with the idea that more and more people in a city, designers or builders or whatever, start to use the same grid, and then this huge network effect in all these parts that are produced and used in a decentralized way. Yeah, and this is my idea for the circular city, and I'm developing an action that will allow everyone to set up a little hackathon in their hometown to create first parts and play with them and contribute to a network effect of a global library of parts based on a geometrical grid. Okay, that's it for my idea, and I'm really looking forward to see some of your ideas. Maybe, Gian, do you want to add some final words to our opening stream?
I just wanted to comment. I was just watching what you're going to be doing, and I just had the thought that it's actually the network effect is very important because you know, part of the circular economy is reuse, and reuse is much preferred. By the time you get to recycle things, you've already destroyed. You know, melting is a very good way of an efficient way of recovering the processes. So reuse is definitely high up, one of the tighter loops. So from that respect, it's actually important to, if you have a good idea like this modularity and standardization, to get it out there around the world to all the other cities so that people can start using it. So people in another city might be encouraged to use it to build some kind of a vehicle where they mount motors on it or something. So as more and more people start to use it, then that standard gets accepted. Because you don't want multiple standards all over the world, and that's what causes confusion. So I think it's important that we do achieve this network effect so that other people in other cities can look at it and say, oh, Lars, that's actually a great idea. Maybe you can improve on this. So we all, you know, in open source fashion, we all work on it together and make it better so that we can all use it.
Cool, yeah. Hopefully. And Stasia, do you want to add some final words? No. You don't have to. Okay, then we close this now. And again, we invite you very much to contribute to this open thread in the forum of the Open Source Circular Economy Days. This thread is called Open Collection, the Circular City. And whatever you have in your mind about the circular city, it just can be just an idea, or it can also be something that you're already using in your city or in your little project. Share your knowledge. Let's create a huge list with ideas and scenarios for the circular city that we can then use in the later phase of the Open Labs to start to create some actions and make some practical impact on this planet. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon on our forum or in our next live stream, or maybe in your local city at your local event, because we will have streamings from most of the local events like this. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.